What if I told you that some of the world's most well-engineered motorcycles are sitting in dealerships right now, practically unwanted, with salespeople desperately trying to move them off the floor? You might think I'm talking about obscure brands or poorly made machines, but you'd be wrong. We're talking about bikes from legendary manufacturers like Harley-Davidson, BMW, Triumph, and Indian, companies that have built empires on two wheels. Today, we're counting down the 12 motorcycles that dealers are literally begging customers to take home. And trust me, some of these entries will shock you. Number 12. BMW R18. When BMW announced the R18, it seemed like the perfect storm. German engineering excellence taking direct aim at Harley-Davidson's cruiser dominance. Instead, it became one of the most expensive lessons in cultural misunderstanding the motorcycle industry has ever witnessed, with dealers now desperate to move these expensive paperweights. The R18's massive 1,802 cubic centimeter boxer engine produces impressive numbers: 91 horsepower and 116 pound-feet of torque. But at nearly 870 pounds, it feels more like mechanical burden than motorcycle magic, especially during low-speed maneuvering where most cruiser riding happens. The engineering excellence couldn't mask fundamental handling issues that made everyday riding a chore. Pricing revealed BMW's disconnect from American cruiser culture. Starting at $17,000 and easily climbing past $20,000 with options, the R18 competed with well-equipped Harley Street Glides that offered something BMW couldn't engineer: cultural cachet and community belonging. While Harleys maintained strong resale values, R18s depreciated rapidly, teaching BMW that American cruiser buyers don't just want transportation, they want identity. The R18 became a magnificent motorcycle built for a market that didn't exist in America, proving that sometimes engineering excellence isn't enough to overcome cultural barriers and established loyalties. Number 11. Suzuki Boulevard M109R. The Suzuki Boulevard M109R once represented the pinnacle of power cruiser excess, a massive, intimidating machine that promised to dominate highways with raw muscle and aggressive styling. Today, it sits in dealerships like a dinosaur from another era, gathering dust as the market for such extreme machines has virtually disappeared, leaving dealers with expensive inventory they can't move. The M109R's 1,783cc V-twin engine produces around 125 horsepower with brutal torque delivery that feels more like a handful than a thrill. Combined with a curb weight exceeding 760 pounds, the bike becomes genuinely intimidating rather than genuinely fun. The power delivery is harsh and unrefined, making it feel primitive compared to modern alternatives. At $15,000 brand new, the M109R competes directly with Harleys that offer superior brand appeal and much stronger resale values. The depreciation is catastrophic. Clean used examples regularly sell for $7,000 or less, yet even at those prices, they often sit unsold because the buyer pool is so small. The styling, once considered bold and futuristic, now looks dated and overwrought. The bulky rear tire, oversized tank, and flashy bodywork scream mid-2000s excess in an era where buyers prefer either stripped-back minimalism or refined touring comfort. Modern American riders want motorcycles that are either practical daily riders or weekend tourers, not garage queens that intimidate more than they inspire. The M109R represents a bygone era of bigger is better thinking that no longer resonates with today's more sophisticated buyers. Number 10. Indian Scout Bobber. The Indian Scout Bobber was supposed to be the minimalist version of the successful Scout, designed to attract younger riders with clean lines and aggressive pricing. Instead, it became a master class in how removing the wrong elements can destroy a motorcycle's appeal. Leaving dealers with inventory they can only move through heavy discounting and aggressive incentives. The Scout Bobber uses the same 1,133 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin as the standard Scout, producing around 100 horsepower. While those numbers look good on paper, the power feels mismatched with the bike's low, compact chassis. The aggressive riding position that looks cool in photos becomes genuinely uncomfortable after an hour in the saddle, defeating the purpose of owning a cruiser. At $13,000, the Scout Bobber competed directly with Harley-Davidson's Sportster lineup, a battle it consistently lost due to Harley's superior resale value and established community. Buyers quickly realized they could get more authentic cruiser character and better long-term value from proven alternatives. The secondary market has been brutal to Scout Bobber values. Clean examples regularly sell for $8,000 or less, yet even at those reduced prices, they often sit for weeks without serious interest. The bike promises a lot in marketing materials, but delivers an uncomfortable riding experience that pushes buyers toward more practical alternatives. The Scout Bobber proves that successful motorcycles need more than good looks and decent specifications. They need to deliver on their fundamental promises, and a cruiser that's uncomfortable to cruise on is a failure regardless of how good it looks parked outside a coffee shop. Number 9. Kawasaki Eliminator. The Kawasaki Eliminator represents one of motorcycling's greatest design failures. A bike that tried to be everything to everyone and ended up satisfying absolutely no one. When Kawasaki's designers attempted to blend cruiser comfort with naked bike agility, they created a machine that confused both markets and pleased neither. American motorcycle buyers are surprisingly traditional. They want cruisers to look like cruisers, low, long, and chrome-laden. The Eliminator's awkward stance and confused styling fit neither the cruiser nor sport bike category convincingly. Its parallel twin engine, ranging from 250 cubic centimeters to 650 cubic centimeters depending on the model year, was borrowed from successful Ninja and Z series bikes, but felt completely out of place in the Eliminator's chassis. Pricing sealed its fate. At $6,000 to $7,000, the Eliminator competed directly with used Harley Sportsters and Honda Shadows that offered decades of heritage and bulletproof reliability. The secondary market told the brutal truth. Eliminators depreciated rapidly while Harleys and Hondas held their value, creating a vicious cycle where potential buyers questioned paying full price for a bike that lost half its value immediately. The Eliminator wasn't terrible, but in the motorcycle world, forgettable is often worse than bad, because at least bad bikes have character. Number 8. Triumph Trident 660. Triumph built their modern reputation on distinctive British character and engineering heritage, creating motorcycles that felt special even when they weren't the fastest or cheapest. The Trident 660 represented a dangerous departure from this philosophy, an attempt to compete on price and practicality rather than character and soul, resulting in a motorcycle that felt more like a spreadsheet than a Triumph. The 660cc triple-cylinder engine produces a competitive 80 horsepower, matching rivals like Yamaha's MT-07 on paper. But Triumph made a critical error. They assumed buyers would choose based purely on specifications and price. The triple engine, while smooth and refined, lacked the distinctive character buyers expected from Triumph. It didn't sound, feel, or inspire like a proper British motorcycle should. At $8,000, the Trident initially seemed reasonably priced, until buyers started comparing alternatives. For less money, they could buy a Yamaha MT-07 with legendary reliability. For slightly more, they could step up to Triumph's own street triple with genuine character, The used market has been brutal. Clean Trident 660s are already selling for around $5,000, making potential buyers question why they should pay full retail for rapid depreciation. The Trident 660 proves that sometimes trying to be everything to everyone means being nothing to anyone, especially when you abandon the very character that made your brand desirable in the first place. Number 7. Suzuki Boulevard C50. You walk into a Suzuki dealership, and there it sits, the Boulevard C50, gleaming under the showroom lights but completely ignored by potential buyers. This middleweight cruiser has become the poster child for motorcycles stuck in limbo, doing everything adequately but nothing exceptionally. The C50's 805 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin produces a modest 53 horsepower, which sounds decent until you realize buyers either want stripped-down retro charm or tire-shredding power, not the boring middle ground this bike occupies. Originally priced around $9,000, dealers quickly discovered they were competing against used Harleys and Hondas that offered better brand recognition and stronger resale values. Desperate dealers have slashed prices into the $7,000 range, but even then, buyers remain hesitant. The motorcycle market runs on emotion, and the C50 simply doesn't stir any feelings. From a reliability standpoint, it's perfectly fine. These bikes can easily surpass 50,000 miles with proper care. The problem isn't longevity. It's that few riders want to keep it long enough to find out. The Boulevard C50 commits the ultimate sin in today's market. It's utterly forgettable in a world that demands passion. Number 6. Kawasaki Vulcan S. The Kawasaki Vulcan S represents a fundamental misunderstanding of what cruiser buyers actually want. While Kawasaki's engineers thought they were being clever by stuffing a sport bike engine into cruiser bodywork, they created a motorcycle that satisfied neither market and left dealers with inventory they couldn't move, even with aggressive discounting. The Vulcan S uses the same 649 cubic centimeter parallel twin engine found in the Ninja 650 and Z650, producing around 61 horsepower. While this engine is excellent in sport applications, it feels completely wrong in the Vulcan's low-slung chassis. Cruiser buyers expect character and torque, not high-revving smoothness. The result is a motorcycle that looks like a cruiser but acts like a confused sport bike. Pricing became the killing blow. At $7,000 to $8,000, the Vulcan S competed directly with used Harley Sportsters and Honda Shadows that offered genuine cruiser character and superior resale value. Smart buyers quickly realized they could get more authentic cruiser experience for the same money with proven alternatives. The secondary market tells the brutal truth about the Vulcan S's failure. Clean examples regularly sell for $4,000 or less, forcing dealers to discount heavily just to generate interest. The customizable ergonomics, marketed as a key selling point, couldn't overcome the fundamental identity crisis at the bike's core. The Vulcan S proves that successful motorcycles need clear identity and purpose, not engineering compromises that please no one. Number 5. Indian FTR. The Indian FTR arrived with tremendous fanfare, marketed as a flat-track-inspired street bike that would capture the imagination of American riders seeking something different. Instead, it became one of the most disappointing sales disasters in recent memory, with dealers now slashing prices, desperately trying to move units that have been gathering dust for months. At the heart of the FTR lies a 1,133 cubic centimeter V-twin engine producing 120 horsepower. Impressive numbers that look great in brochures. But the execution feels fundamentally flawed. At 520 pounds, the FTR carries too much weight for its sporty pretensions, while the jerky throttle response at low speeds makes urban riding frustrating rather than fun. The pricing strategy revealed Indians' complete disconnect from market reality. Starting near $13,000 and climbing past $15,000 for higher trims, the FTR competed with established naked bikes that offered more prestige and stronger resale values. For the same money, buyers could choose proven alternatives with better dealer networks and aftermarket support. Range anxiety became another deal-breaker. The small fuel tank limits real-world range to under 150 miles, making it impractical for the longer rides American motorcyclists love. Combined with limited aftermarket support compared to Harley or Triumph, the FTR became an expensive experiment few people wanted to commit to. The bike had potential but missed its mark completely, leaving dealers with expensive inventory that only moved with heavy discounts and aggressive financing incentives. Number 4. BMW K1600B. BMW's K1600B represents everything that's simultaneously right and wrong with German motorcycle engineering. On paper, it's a masterpiece, a bagger powered by a silky smooth 1,600cc inline-six engine, producing 160 horsepower with touring comfort that should dominate American highways. In reality, it's become a showroom anchor that dealers can't give away, proving that engineering excellence means nothing without emotional connection. The K1600B's technical specifications are genuinely impressive. The inline-six engine delivers power with a smoothness that makes Harley twins feel agricultural, while the electronic aids and build quality represent the pinnacle of motorcycle engineering. But American bagger buyers don't prioritize horsepower or technical sophistication. They want heritage, character, and community belonging. Starting around $22,000 and climbing toward $30,000 with options, the K1600B lands in premium territory where buyers overwhelmingly choose Harley Street Glides or Indian Chieftains that hold value far better. The pricing premium can't be justified when alternatives offer superior resale and established dealer networks. The styling compounds the problem. The K1600B's stretched lines and futuristic appearance don't appeal to traditional American bagger buyers who prefer classic proportions and timeless design. It looks like a motorcycle from the future, but the bagger market values the past. BMW created a technically superior motorcycle that nobody wanted, proving that sometimes being the best isn't enough if you're solving problems customers don't have while ignoring the emotional needs that actually drive purchasing decisions. Number 3. Indian Chief. The Indian Chief should have been a home run, a motorcycle carrying one of the most storied names in American motorcycling history, backed by modern engineering and build quality. Instead, it's become a cautionary tale about how heritage alone can't overcome fundamental design and positioning mistakes, leaving dealers struggling to move inventory despite aggressive pricing. The Chief's 1,890 cubic centimeter Thunderstroke Fave Twin produces respectable numbers, 76 horsepower and 120 pound-feet of torque. But those figures can't overcome the bike's excessive weight, which tips the scales at over 760 pounds. On the road, that mass saps away enjoyment, especially in daily traffic where most riding happens. It feels more like work than pleasure. Pricing placed the Chief in direct competition with Harley-Davidson alternatives that offer stronger community support and better resale values. Starting around $14,000 and climbing past $17,000 for higher trims, buyers consistently chose Harleys that provided better long-term value and established dealer networks. The styling represents another missed opportunity. While the Chief blends modern minimalism with classic cruiser cues, it lacks the timeless appeal that makes Harleys desirable across generations. It's handsome enough, but forgettable. Deadly in a market driven by emotional connection. The Indian chief proves that name recognition isn't enough in today's competitive motorcycle market. Buyers need compelling reasons to choose your brand over established alternatives, and the chief simply doesn't provide enough differentiation to justify its premium pricing or overcome its fundamental limitations in daily use. Number 2. Harley-Davidson Nightster. The Harley-Davidson Nightster represents the most shocking entry on this list, a motorcycle from the most iconic American brand that dealers literally cannot give away. Introduced as part of Harley's modernization efforts, the Nightster was supposed to attract younger riders with contemporary technology and refined performance. Instead, it alienated traditional Harley buyers while failing to attract new ones, creating a motorcycle that satisfies no one. The Nightster's revolution. Max 975 cubic centimeter liquid-cooled V-twin produces around 90 horsepower. Impressive numbers that reveal the bike's fundamental problem. Traditional Harley buyers complain it feels too refined and lacks the signature character they expect, while riders from other brands find the performance underwhelming for the premium price. This middle ground approach pleased absolutely no one. Starting near $13,000, the Nightster competes against Harley's own iron models on the used market and numerous Japanese alternatives that cost thousands less. The pricing premium can't be justified when the bike abandons everything that makes Harleys special while failing to match the performance of cheaper alternatives. The Nightster was supposed to bridge Harley's past and future, but instead left many riders confused. It doesn't capture the soul of classic sportsters, nor does it offer enough performance to lure riders from sport or naked bikes. Dealers have been forced to offer deep discounts and aggressive financing just to generate interest. The Nightster's failure represents Harley's biggest miscalculation, assuming they could modernize their way to relevance while abandoning the very characteristics that made them desirable. Sometimes evolution becomes extinct, and the Nightster proves that being different isn't always better when different means losing your identity entirely. Number 1. Triumph Rocket 3. The Triumph Rocket 3 boasts the largest production motorcycle engine in the world, a staggering 2,500 cubic centimeter three-cylinder power plant that produces eye-watering numbers and impressive bragging rights. Yet despite these superlatives, it's become a motorcycle that dealers can't sell without heavy discounts, proving that sometimes bigger really isn't better when customers value practicality over pure spectacle. The massive triple produces around 165 horsepower and 163 pound-feet of torque, figures that make for wild bench racing but create real-world problems. At over 760 pounds, the Rocket 3 becomes genuinely intimidating to handle, especially at low speeds where its bulk becomes most apparent. The engine's massive displacement creates a motorcycle that's more about showing off than actually riding. Starting near $23,000 and climbing past $25,000 for premium trims, the Rocket 3 enters exotic motorcycle territory where buyers expect either track-focused performance or luxurious touring capability. The Rocket 3 delivers neither, instead offering raw power that's difficult to use effectively on public roads. The styling divides opinions sharply. Its oversized proportions and futuristic cruiser appearance don't fit neatly into any established category, making it appeal to a very narrow slice of buyers who want maximum displacement regardless of practicality. The Rocket 3 represents engineering for engineering's sake, impressive on paper, but irrelevant in practice. It's a motorcycle that turns heads at bike nights but rarely gets ridden seriously, making it more showroom centerpiece than actual transportation. Sometimes the biggest isn't the best, especially when size becomes the enemy of usability. And there you have it, 12 motorcycles that prove even legendary manufacturers can miss the mark spectacularly. These bikes aren't necessarily bad, but they've all failed to connect with buyers in ways that matter. Whether it's pricing mistakes, identity crises, or simply being built for markets that don't exist. Each represents a valuable lesson in understanding what customers actually want versus what engineers think they should want.